Right, we've just done the unveiling of the Mexborough Swinton Boxing Hall of Fame, and the guests here today, we'd just like to have a quick word with them for the record. So, first on the block, Andrew. Welcome to Mexborough. Andrew's recently moved up from Bath area. So, Andrew, why are you here?
To represent Alfred Liversidge.
So, who was Alfred?
Alfred was my great-great-grandfather.
And Alfred Liversidge's claim to fame is that he was the boxing trainer, and he trained Jem Mace right up to the heavyweight title of the world.
Yes.
And he also used to jump over the canal at Swinton, a feat which you are going to emulate for us in this summer.
I don't think so.
Right, these two gentlemen are here today representing their family member, who was the British heavyweight champion, Iron Haig. So, what relation were you to Iron Haig?
I'm his great-great-grandson.
Great-great-great-grandson.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I wish I did.
No.
Got plenty of photos and memorabilia.
I'd imagine there's plenty of stories within the family about Iron Haig. I understand he was sort of quite a character.
Oh, aye. Yeah.
And have you got any sort of memorabilia from his boxing days?
We've got photos, and Mum's got his boxing gloves and medals.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, his achievement was obviously one of the best for the area. Heavyweight champion of Britain, what more can you get?
Oh, that's it.
Daniel, tell him what you've done.
I did Taekwondo. I was British champion for 3 years. I came fourth in World Championships as well, in Greece.
Fantastic.
We've also got another one of his great-great-great-grandkids training at gym now.
In boxing? Yeah. Fantastic. So you've kept the family trait on then? So, and obviously enjoyed good success with that. Are you sort of continuing with Taekwondo?
I will be doing soon, yeah.
Yeah, so when's your next competition?
Let's get back into training first.
So, but yeah, very well done.
Right.
Graham, you've organised all this today. You've got everybody together. You've got the board organised, which is going to be hung up at the boxing club.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some people who can't be here today with relatives on. I think you'd like to talk about a few.
Well, one in particular is old Sid Breezy. He used to run club with me, Swigger and Les Ford. We used to have the poster where Sid fought at Blackfriars in London. He topped the bill. He fought 23-minute rounds, won his fate, got £60 and could have bought his house and next to us in Schofield Street for 60 quid. So, you know, if you reckon him up at like £30 a piece, he won 60 grand, didn't he? But,
Times have moved on.
But all these boxers, you've got to realise that none of them ever made a fortune out of boxing, but they were game men, and that was, you know, they fought for snap on table.
Another well-known boxer, Graham, Jim Oldfield.
Yeah, Jim Oldfield, yeah. I've got all his fight records down in my office. Some of his family should have been here today, but they apparently not turned up. But that was another man that did his best. And then there were Jim Oldfield. Oh, Bert Priestley. There were Bert Priestley. Some of his family are still in Mexborough, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
But I've not been able to contact them. But hopefully, when we open it up at Jim, we'll be able to get them there for unveiling of it then.
What about the other boxer, Mr. Dooney?
Ah, well, have we got all day? Have we got all day to talk? To me, Tommy was one of life's gentlemen. I mean, I spent a lot of hours with Tommy. He would sit on step and tell tale. He was one of the most well-spoken men you'd ever come across. Never no brawns, bragging with Tommy. It were all action, wasn't it? He'd send Chris up here and that for a bottle of whiskey on a Sunday afternoon and get him under the barn or in backyard sparring, and they'd got to fight when Tommy were about. But he never won no big things in the boxing because of his eyes, but believe you and me, when a man goes to as much trouble as, Benny Wilkie, is it Wilkie?
Yes, Benny Wilkie.
Benny Wilkie did to write a poem about him, you know, that sums him up, lock, stock and barrel.
Good achiever. Yeah. Tommy, great to see you down here today, and I think if there's anything that's boxing or needs support in the town, then you're the man, you're always here. And you even had a film made about you, haven't you?
Oh yeah, it's been great, and thanks to you and people, Graham Schofield and everybody, it's been good for me,
What do you think of the sort of state of boxing today then, Tom, compared to when you were boxing yourself?
I think there's some good lads coming through, now, and we've got a couple in Mexborough, and it looks promising at the moment, yeah.
And what about the training? Is there sort of much differed on training techniques?
Yeah, there's lots changed now with the training things that I used to be like, which I think is better now. You know, better it's getting to lads and they're getting fitter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And your training, Tommy, you took on the military, didn't you?
Oh, for that army.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
for the
right.
fitness,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was good. Yeah, we beat them. Yeah, I think it was just a look thing like, but we done it like we beat them, so it was good. Yeah.
But you'd quite a long career in boxing, Tom, and did very well. I mean, you boxed right up into Commonwealth, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, sat with Alex Moffat. Alex was a Mexborough boxer for many years. Alex, do you want to just tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, I moved to Mexborough when I was 5-year-old from Lancashire, and I got friendly with Marquette Chin, who were boxing before me, and he says, come up to the gym. So I went up to the gym from being 9-year-old, had a few fights like amateur, 40 odd, won a few, lost a few, got disheartened, and basically that was it.
So how many fights did you have in total?
40 odd fights amateur for athletic.
So, and what were the highest level you boxed up to?
I was Yorkshire champion, South Yorkshire champion. Basically that's as far as I got in it.
And what weight were you boxing at?
5 stone 2 up to 6 stone 1.
Right. So, and what's your sort of view about the boxing today?
I think it's a good thing. It's a lot more protected now for lads. Me and Mike, when we were boxing together, we used to live for it. We lived for the sport. But now, there's not as many interested in it, I don't think, because they've got other things like computers and all that now to occupy the time. When me and Mike were boxing, we didn't have up to occupy our time other than walk down the streets. So we got off streets.
Which is a good message for youth of today, really.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm now talking to Mark Epton, who I've known for many years. I remember you growing up, Mark, as a little lad in Mexborough, knew your father and everything like that. So you had an excellent boxing career. Do you want to just tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, I started boxing very young because basically it's something to do. But when I boxed, everybody was boxing. All my friends boxed, a lot of people older than me boxed, and we had to queue to get into a boxing club. And I think you never see today the screaming to get them in, and lads just won't do it now.
And you had terrific success. I mean, how high did you sort of get up in the boxing world?
I got rated to number 8 in the world. I went to Olympics in 1988 in Seoul. Boxed for England 28 times. A great amateur career. Turned professional, and professional boxing weren't for me. So.
Did you find it a big wrench from the amateur scene to the professional? Was there a big difference?
Not really. When I was amateur, I really got very well looked after, and when I was pro, it was a lot of travelling and nights away, and I didn't really like that.
Did you find the standard of fighting was harder on the professional circuit?
A lot more sparring in pro boxing than there were in amateur. Harder sparring as well.
And are you familiar with some of the youngsters we've got coming up today?
We have got a lot of good youngsters coming up, but they ain't enough for them. I think there should be some kind of campaign to get people back into boxing clubs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's got to come from the schools as well.
Yes.
How many ABA titles on that?
I won 3 ABA titles, 85, 86 and 87.
Yeah, and what weight were you boxing at?
Flyweight and light flyweight. I'm a little bit overweight now at the minute.
A bit like Nazim then.
Give me 3
Should have been in with them 2 buttons for the weekend until they're beat.
Give me 3 days, I'll be able to make weight, I think.
Excellent.
No chance of the comeback then.
Right, now talking to Stuart Brooks. Stuart, you are boxing now, you're in training. I think you started when you were 16. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done to date?
Well, I started boxing at 16, Pulse Room in Mexborough. I'm training there now, I've gone professional. In amateurs I got to senior ABA finals, but I lost by 1 point, but I'm doing better in professional now, and I find it better for my style.
So you've actually turned professional then now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many professional fights have you had?
I've had 4, and won 4.
That's excellent, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So when's your next fight?
Hopefully in March. I've been on 3 world title bills now, on the cards, Rick Hatton, Clinton Woods. And I'm going to be on the card with another world title with Clinton Woods as well.
How many fights do you need under your belt before you feel that you'd be given a chance to get up to one of the crowns, the big English crown?
Well, that's up to my promoter, what he sees goes.
And obviously, I mean, you've done 4 out of 4 is very, very good. So you've obviously got the skill and the confidence there. So we wish you well for the future on that and hope that your career continues.
Right, thank you.
Right, I'm now sat with Ken Wyatt Sr, who's actually on the board of fame outside. And Ken, your boxing career started back in the Second World War time, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you went professional, and your first professional fight was at 1949 against Jack Williams.
That's right.
Yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about your boxing?
Well, when we boxed as amateur, there was no head guards, no bandages, no protection, no mouthpiece, nothing like that as amateurs then.
So when you got hurt, you got hurt.
That's how come the bus out.
Blimey, yeah, I can see that
No
there.
bandages,
Yeah, that's
no,
fair
not
injury.
allowed anything like that. No protection at all, you know.
You were boxing at heavyweight, Ken, were you?
Light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight.
But I was about 13 stone, and I was either a light heavy. I had to get down sometimes to say 12, 10, something like that. But I always had to give away weight when I boxed heavyweights, like, you know, because I was about 13 stone all the time.
Yes.
Still am.
So that were your fighting weight then, 13
Yeah,
stone
that's
and
right.
in. How many professional fights did you have, Ken?
I think it was about 38 to 40, something like that. Apart, I never counted booth fights or anything like that. I didn't make any record of them at all.
Right.
I think that was a complete record there, but
Were the booth fights, what, were they fairground
yeah,
fights?
that's right, yeah.
So what that would be that what you'd turn up and you'd take on a champion who's in the booth,
Yeah,
and if
that's
you
right,
lasted the
yeah.
rounds out, you got the money.
It was, they used to come to Doncaster on Docking Hill, Billy Woods, I think it was, boxing, and Sheffield, used to have it at Sheffield too.
Yeah.
Up at the farm grounds behind the railway station.
What was the criteria, Ken? Was it a case that you had to sort of stop in and last a couple of rounds with them to
Yeah,
win? Is
that's
that what the
yeah.
idea was?
Well, most of it was, you know, fixed like, but it made it look as good as you could, like, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got some guys that really wanted to really go for it, like, you know. You always you had to watch your step because some of them really come to really fight, you know.
Yeah. So were you going as the
Especially
challenger, or were you working for the fair in the fair booth?
Yeah.
You were working. Yeah. So they come to box you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So they come to, and they had to obviously beat in order to get the cash prize.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't make a lot out of it, but it was good training, like, you know.
Yeah.
It kept you on,
Yeah, but it was
on the
excellent.
ball, like, you know.
Excellent training. Which was your sort of most memorable fight that you can remember?
I think the best from my first 8-rounder with, I think it's, can't see it, one of Turpin's sparring partners.
Oh yeah, Randolph Turpin.
Yeah,
Randolph
that's
Turpin,
right,
yeah.
And we had a hell of a scrap. It was at Leicester. We were both down on the deck 2 or 3 times. And, but I did manage to win on points, but it was a hell of one of the hardest scraps I've ever had as a pro, anyway.
As a pro, what sort of purse would you get fighting back in the early 50s? You know, what would be a winning purse?
He was lucky to get at Mexborough.
Yeah.
He was lucky to get a tenner.
Yeah.
Pound a round. Sid Breeze used to run shows, and they used to like to pay pound a round. But my manager insisted I had a bit more, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I finished up with £8 fit. £8, I think it was, for a 6-rounder.
Yeah.
But majority of them, the 6-rounders, was £15.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
occasionally you got, I boxed for Jack Solomon on Haringey, you got £20, and even for a 4-rounder. And that was damn good money then. It was like 4 weeks' wages, like, you know.
Yeah, would have been.
Because the wages were about £55 a week.
You boxed right until, is it when your last professional fight, was that in 1956?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was your last, and I noticed from your record you won that. That was against a gentleman called Don McCall's at Skipton, and and you won him, put him on the deck.
Somewhere in Derbyshire, was it somewhere?
Buxton, that's right,
Buxton.
yeah.
Ah,
Buxton in
that's right,
Derbyshire. And once you finish, you also used to keep your training up. I understand that you used to work at the Empress as well, on the door, putting the unruly out on the streets. I think Graham was one of your customers, weren't you, Graham? No?
I used to make a few good out of Ken because he looked after me. You can't really remember me. I used to work with old Arthur Harrismith, that with old jacket, you know, with coats. And Ken used to give me pass outs and I was a flogging for a £10 a piece. And I enterprising in them days. Hey, you got 2 bob on me, he went down it. You're doing well.
You were there a few years, Ken, weren't you, on the
Yes, I
Empress?
was. I just forget now how many, but I went from there. I couldn't do much trading, like, because Saturday night was late, like, you know. And
Yeah.
you're on your feet for about 4 hours. And our main day was Sunday morning training, but
Yeah.
I never felt like it, so that's when I eased off a bit. I went back then to Romash Bar. I worked there for a few winters, just at winters.
I know you were telling me on the way down that you often go into Mexborough and people come and pull you, but these are the kids that you were chucking out in the 50s, and now they're
They don't
the
seem
men
to-
in the 50s and early 60s, and they all recognise you.
Yeah, they don't seem to bear any malice, like, you know. They don't seem to mind.
It was just the job that had to be done.
We only had to do what we had to do, like, you know.
But it's good anyway that you've been recognised and you're on the Boxing Hall of Fame sign, so that's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, I'm now sat with Sean Cunningham, who I've known many, many years. Sean, I remember you growing up as a youngster.
Yeah.
And you went into training in boxing in Mexborough. Can you just tell us about it?
I started same as other lads at Mexborough Athletic Club. I only had a few amateur fights, they were too good, but it kept me going to the gym. I watched Mark train as a young man, Alex, Alan Sherratt, all that's where they aspired with Alan Sherratt for a lot of years. Stuart Brooks, Stuart was a good fighter. It all learnt us respect for one another. That's what we all have, and we still to this day we all respect one another.
I think
Sadly a lot of youngsters ain't got for one another these days.
Well, I think it's disciplined training. It puts discipline into it, and it
does,
puts it into
it
life.
learns
doesn't
you
it?
self-respect and to be a decent person. So
What do you think of the youngsters we've got up and coming at
I
the
think
gym
they're
today?
all very, very talented. We've got good prospects in Mexborough with young Stuart and Scott Brooks, 2 good lads. It's coming through.
But I remember you boxing. When were your last fight that you had?
About 4 weeks ago.
Walked into that one, didn't we? Yeah, I meant in the boxing ring.
All right. A while ago. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but I remember you on the boxing scene anyway. So
I think everybody in Mexborough should support boxing like we do. All these lads here, and yourself, we all go to many shows and we all support it. And it's a good thing. We should do it. Any chance we get to support these youngsters, we've got to do it.
I agree. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Right. Thanks, Giles.